Well, hey, everybody. Welcome to My Worst Date. I'm Cassie.
I'm Keegan.
And I'm Christina.
You sounded so exasperated right there.
I know.
Cassie, you're like,
I didn't mean to.
Hi, everyone. We're back together in person recording.
I'm actually excited. I'm like trying to keep it tempered. I'm like, oh, God, we're back together.
I know. We took a 3-week break.
It was weird.
It was very weird.
Yeah, that's the longest that we've gone in 3 years without recording, I feel like.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah.
yeah,
It was a long break.
definitely.
Busy.
It's hard to know where to start because we text each other so many things that we want to talk about. I know we've gotten some questions from the worsties and stuff too.
Yeah.
That we want to get to. So
Well, why don't we start there then?
Okay.
Perfect. We got a question from one of our worsties. And I did say that I was going to bring it here. So, because I think all of us probably have different types of advice for this. So, and mine was too long to put in a text. So I was like, okay, this is definitely going to
Let's save this. Put a pin in that. We'll talk about that.
That's right. The question was, how do you get used to flirting with someone new? I'm so out of practice and I don't want it to be so obvious. So some flirting advice is what we're after here. And I think that it's probably, I think there's a question here that I have is are you like out somewhere trying to meet someone, flirt with like a stranger, or is this somebody you've been talking to, flirting with, right? So that's...
Yeah, I think it's so dependent on who it is because I feel like with the right person, it comes naturally, right? Like I feel like it doesn't necessarily feel like flirting when you're with the right person. I feel like if you're trying really hard and you feel like you're not getting anything back, then maybe you just don't have chemistry.
Right.
You know?
True.
But at the same time, I also know that there are people who are just really good at flirting and it comes very naturally to them. Cassie's raising her hand. And they're just like really charming that way.
Yeah.
You know?
I think what that comes down to, and I raised my hand because semi-facetiously, because I've been married for like 16 years, but I do think that it does come down to something that I am good at, which is that I'm a hairdresser. I'm a good listener. I'm good at reacting to people's personalities. Yes. I have this method that I've always used for years. It's something I learned when I was doing hair on set for a DSW commercial that they were filming for their team, which is called check, check, match. And it's something I did and used in sales, something I use as a hairdresser. And it was check the energy of the person that you're approaching, check it again, and then match it, right? Because sometimes you may approach somebody and, depending on their demeanor, it's all about what they're willing to accept or how they're accepting or receiving information. And that has to be like really that's the biggest part of how we approach people. You're like, can I be campy? Can I be funny? Are they somebody who would get my sarcasm? Are they somebody who would, they need you to come in a slow roll, like just start a conversation. Some of the other tricks that I use just in general, getting along with people. And I think that this is what flirting is connecting with them, right? What do you have in common? If you can find a common ground very quickly, then you have something you can maybe play off of and joke around with. And
yeah, that's what I was going to say. Like the same things that make you a good conversationalist make you good at flirting. Like if you can go into a party and, chat people up and pull things out of people, then you're going to be good at flirting. Because I think that those things go hand in hand. Not everybody is naturally good at that. And if you're not, then I feel like it really does come down to the chemistry that you have with the person. You know what I mean?
Speaking as the group's only introvert,
Yes.
the one that doesn't like approaching strangers, also doesn't like to be approached, and has real problems communicating with people I don't know. So if you're like me, flirting for me when I was out dating was really dependent on the text rapport that we had set up in advance in giving me some kind of vibe of the topics and things that they were interested in, gave me the confidence to feel like I could carry on that kind of conversation. And when I got in person and met them, if there was chemistry there, the conversation flowed naturally. You kind of touch them on the arm, that sort of thing, and it's fine. But yeah, for those times I messed up and maybe like went on the date too soon and didn't have that text background to go off of, it was very awkward to just talk to a stranger.
Yeah. I mean, I guess if you're looking for ideas of like ways you can fake it, right?
Yeah.
Because there's always like ways that you can fake it till you make it, fake confidence, even if you don't have it, because confidence is always really attractive.
Yes.
And for me, something that I found works, not necessarily flirting, because I've been in a relationship for so long, but eye contact is really important. Like, show somebody that you're interested. Like Cassie said, show them that you're listening to
Nod
what
your
they're
head.
saying. Yes. Be engaged in the conversation and go off of what they're saying so that they know that you're listening to them. I think that all those things are really attractive.
Absolutely.
So-
I totally agree with you. I think you're absolutely right. I think you've hit nail on the head as far as like just engaging. Being a good listener sometimes is probably even ways that Christina probably outdoes me a multitude of times. I'm the person who's like, engage. And you're the person who's like, sit back, listen, use your strengths for yours, to help you in those situations, for sure. That's all really valid.
Yeah, because at the end of the day, like Keegan said at the beginning of this conversation, with the right person, the flirting is not going to be flirting. It's just going to be that natural chemistry that you have with somebody.
Right.
And that's the kind of person that you want to be with, where you don't feel like you're trying in your head to make this happen.
Yeah,
where
and if
it's
it feels
just
like
happening.
if it feels like there's too many moments of like silence, if you can't find anything to say to each other, well, I mean, maybe that's just not the person for you, and you should move on. Like, because it shouldn't be that hard. You shouldn't have to work that hard, and sometimes
That's
you're
right.
just not compatible with somebody, and there's nothing wrong with that.
Yeah.
So
In fact, more often than not, that's the case.
For sure.
So yeah, that's dating in a nutshell, is being okay with the rejection, because you're going to get a lot more rejection. And you're going to reject people, and it's just a lack of
if you were meant to be with
compatibility.
everybody,
Yeah, exactly.
this wouldn't be a thing. I do have to say though, as the, Keegan and I, the extroverts, I would say, dating as an introvert, get adopted by some extroverts.
Yeah.
I think especially in public, we have you met my friend Christina was a joke because we literally would be like, if we were out and we saw somebody that we're like, yeah, have you met my friend Christina?
get you out on the dance floor, get you dancing close to that guy that you think is hot on the dance floor.
Or be the person who can engage the conversation so that you can start to find, oh my gosh, you're into that. So is my friend Christina. She actually loves talking about blah, blah, blah.
Oh,
and you can
mediate
get that.
mediate the fuck out of a conversation. You know what I mean? You can be that middle person. You can be the Oprah in that
Yes.
conversation,
Yes, we can.
Absolutely.
Well, let's talk about some people who have either been rejected a bunch or done a lot of rejecting, because this came across my Apple News, which I'm like, this isn't, we're using the term news very loosely here.
Very fast and loose lately. Yeah.
But it was 24 celebrities who've been married more than 3 times.
Yeah, that's a
Oh,
BuzzFeed
okay.
article. If I've
Yes,
ever heard
it
one.
is. It is. BuzzFeed. Yes, it is.
Amazing.
And so some of these, like Jennifer Lopez, I'm like, okay, yeah, we know that one. I didn't know Kate Winslet had been married 3
Yeah.
times. Nick Cage has been married like 6 times.
Okay.
That does not
tracks.
shock me at all. I'm actually like, only 6?
Only exactly, because that is the guy who is like, he is in love with love. So when
Yeah.
it doesn't work out, he's just looking for his next quote unquote love.
Yeah.
He is ready to marry someone and lock it
okay.
down.
Sorry, 5 times. Don't mean to do it. But he got married this year.
Yeah.
Like, he just can't stop.
No.
Can't stop, won't stop.
It's amazing. Some of these people. Oh, it was Billy Bob Thornton who was married 6 times.
Oh, wait, that actually.
Sir. And he wasn't even married to Laura Dern.
Oh, man.
So like how this is my question. How do you have the time? Like, I was literally looking because they
was he
list
married
them out.
to Angelina?
Yes.
Okay, they were married.
Yes. So I was looking at them, and they list out the years that they were married to each person.
Yeah.
And I'm like, yeah, okay. Billy Bob Thornton was married for 2 years, then 2 years, then 2 years, then 4 years, then 3 years. And now he's been married since 2014. But I'm like, that's how you have to do it. You got to just like get married fast, stay married for like 2 or 3 years, get divorced, and move on to the next. Because like, how else do you have time to get married 6 times? As somebody who is planning a wedding with someone who I've been with for 8 years, engaged for 3 years, like my engagement has been longer than 50% of Billy Bob Thornton's marriages. Like,
That's right.
like it's mind-blowing to me.
Yeah.
It's always mind-blowing to me. And I'm not shading anybody who's like had a lot of marriages. I'm just saying.
There can be fun parties, I guess. And if you have the money and nothing else to do with your time, like,
I've said this to many people when they've asked me how the wedding planning is going. It's going fine, for the record. It's going fine.
It's fine.
This is fine. But I will say this, God forbid anything ever happens. Never again. I will never plan a big wedding ever again. And I realize that a lot of these people who've been married multiple times, they have small weddings or they have lots of money where they can just hire someone to do all the stuff. But for people who are like everyday people who are on their third, fourth marriage and every wedding is a big wedding, sociopaths. I don't understand. I'm like, what's wrong with you? Like, it's so stressful. It's so expensive.
Yeah.
And I'm like, why would you do this multiple times? You know what I mean? Like, once is good, is fun.
Yeah.
Great. You know?
I think maybe it's similar to having kids.
Yeah.
In that, you forget because speaking as somebody that I didn't have a huge wedding or anything like that. It was only like 80 people, but it was like a wedding.
Yeah.
And
it had planning.
It had planning and stuff. It's been over a decade since that. So like if I were to get in that situation again, I've already forgotten how difficult it is. So I'm like, I'd do it again.
Yeah, for sure.
Oh God. I mean, okay. Maybe
true.
you shouldn't talk to me.
Yeah.
Because I'm in the thick of it right now.
You are.
And I'm like, fuck this. I mean, I'm looking forward to my wedding. I don't want to at all put like, make it sound like I'm not, because I am.
No, but you're like, 2 months out at this point. So like less than 2 months out.
Yes.
So it's really, you're in the final countdown.
And in the final countdown as well, like everyone, I cannot, this shouldn't be a surprise. I don't know why everyone tells you weddings are expensive. Weddings are expensive, right? And you're like, yeah. Weddings are expensive. Like, okay, I know.
Okay, I get it.
But then you come down to like all of the little shit you still have to do, and I'm like,
costs money.
and you get to the end, you get to the last like month and a half, and you're like, fucking whatever. Like, what's another $200? Like, you just start like just throwing things just to like get it done, and then you come out on the other side of it, and you're like, I'm sorry, what?
Yeah.
How much?
Exactly.
Oh dear.
But it's going to be a fun party.
Oh, it's going to be so fun.
It's gonna be best.
Listen, it will be super fun.
Yeah.
But yeah, I'm like, for all this money and all this stress, I'm like, I'm having the best time. Leave me alone. I'm on the dance floor. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I'm excited.
Yeah, it's going to be good.
I'm really excited.
Yeah.
Ooh, bachelor party coming up.
I know.
Bachelorette party coming up. Sorry.
I got it.
Yeah.
In Palm Springs, that's going to be
Liddy.
Yeah.
I'm excited for it.
Yeah.
Oh,
what else we have going on? Well, I do know that we have a shit ton of patrons.
We do.
We have a lot of special thanks to give. And thank you again for those of you guys who have waited a couple of weeks for us to, get your shout outs and that sort of thing. Like, we had to record ahead of time to make use of a little bit of vacation time. So we appreciate it.
yes, and we've been out of town. So if you have not received your rewards yet, don't worry. We haven't forgotten about you. We are going to get those in the mail today. So they should be coming to you soon. And don't think that we've forgotten about you. So, okay. We want to give a shout out to Heather Newman for joining us. She's, Heather, thank you for being such a trooper because you literally became our patron like the day after the last time we recorded.
Right.
And so we were like, oh no, like she's going to have to wait so long for us to give her a shout out on the podcast. We hope that she doesn't think that we've forgotten about her. So thank you so much for joining us. We want to give a shout out to Helen and to this person has been our patron for quite a long time. He has also sent us a lot of messages on email with just suggestions and just reaching out
Active
to give
worsty.
give comments about, the episodes, which we love to see. I want to give a special shout out to Lewis Hung, who reached out with just a very sweet message to you, Christina, about everything that was kind of going on, and edited their pledge. And so we want to thank you so much for not only your loyalty to the podcast, but also your friendship.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Desiree Martyr, I hope I said your last name right. Desiree, thank you so much for joining us. And I think that is everybody.
Okay.
Good.
All right.
Wow.
Welcome to the Worsty crew. Now that we're back together, and fingers crossed Delta variant doesn't wreck our plans, because we had a lot of plans for different videos and stuff like that coming to Patreon soon. But stay tuned. You guys always get to know things first.
Yeah. I feel like that meme where it's like fall plans, Delta variant.
Oh yeah.
That
yeah. That new trend for sure.
Yeah.
Oh, my heart. I really need everybody to get it together. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I'm like, look, man, I know it's hard, but we've really, I can't have another Halloween inside. We really need to just pull it together. Okay.
For real. Well, Fuck, Marry, Kill.
Yeah.
You sent us a quiz that we were supposed to do.
Okay, so we got this quiz from one of our listeners who is one of our Twitter friends, and this person sent us a quiz, and the quiz was a BuzzFeed quiz, the best kind, right?
Yeah,
Yes.
which is like makes it absolute gospel.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Did BuzzFeed sponsor this episode? Because I feel like
Honestly. And the quiz was, hold on, let me find it real quick. Sorry, guys. The quiz was, since we can't all have Mike Lowry, let's see which other Will Smith character you belong with. And I got to be honest, if I was picking myself, I would have said Mike Lowry for sure. For sure.
Okay. All right.
But I ended up getting Deadshot from the Suicide Squad.
okay.
Wow.
Yeah, and I got Hitch, which was a surprise to me.
Wow.
Okay, having seen that movie, not who I would have thought for myself, but I guess if he's good enough for Eva Mendes, he's good enough for me.
Well, I got exactly who I thought I was going to get.
Yeah.
I got Robert Neville from I Am Legend.
Amazing. Yeah, that tracks.
Yeah.
That tracks.
I'm like, yep, that's absolutely.
Sad boy TM though. Like, you got the saddest of
Yes.
the Will Smiths. You know what I mean?
He's got a German
But he's got a
Shepherd.
dog that he
He's got
loves a
dog.
lot.
Wait,
a
that's
lot.
not the saddest one. Pursuit of Happiness
Yes,
is the saddest.
I was going
Will
to
Smith.
clarify. Pursuit of Happiness is the saddest, but I Am Legend is
Yeah.
up there
He's-
in terms
he's
of
pretty
like,
sad boy. Yeah.
yeah, sad and lonely.
My-
And I totally get I can fix you vibes from that guy.
yes.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like,
Mine says that Deadshot is the ultimate bad boy. He's sarcastic and he's overly confident in his skills. I'm like, am I marrying myself?
see, that's the problem
Sarcastic.
with these quizzes is I feel like they always end up being like, you're not going to get with somebody who's just like you. You know what I mean?
Right.
So Hitch, okay. Alex Hitch from Hitch, Alex is suave and charming. He actually works as a date doctor, helping men learn how to speak to and treat a woman right.
Oh Lord.
It seems he doesn't always take his own advice, as he can be nervous about women he likes. He believes in being a gentleman and treating people with respect. Now listen.
This is a Tainted Love movie if I've ever heard
Yeah.
one.
Right.
Also, not all of that, but some of it in terms of like, he gives advice and doesn't take his own advice. I'm like, yeah, that sounds like me. That sounds exactly like me. I'm like, I can fix you. Let's never turn the finger back around this direction.
Robert Neville is a military scientist, a virologist who works hard to try and protect humanity. Strong and resourceful, he's creative when needed. He can take care of himself and others in a very dangerous world.
Oh, yeah, he
and
can.
he's willing to sacrifice himself to protect others without thinking.
So pause before we decide who we're going to fuck, marry, kill here. Did you see that the writers of I Am Legend had to come forward and they put out a statement where they're like, it's a movie? Because
I'm sorry, what?
Because anti-vaxxers were quoting it
Okay.
and saying like, look, this is what happened in I Am Legend whenever they forced vaccinations on people. And the writers had to, this is the world we're living in, where the writers had to come out and be like,
It was a book.
yes. And I read the book and it's
Honey.
very different from the movie, but hold on, pause.
Okay. Yeah. I got a lot to think about here.
I actually know what I'm going to do.
Okay.
I actually know what I'm
good,
going to do.
Okay.
So I am going to marry I Am Legend. I'm going to marry him. I know. I feel like maybe not the best choice, but I feel like in the impending zombie apocalypse,
that's who you
he
want.
would be very helpful.
He loves animals, man.
He loves animals. If I die, he'll mourn me forever. You know, I'm feeling like, okay, good, solid. Maybe a little moody, but I feel like we can get around it.
Yeah, but he's not going to be moody until you're gone anyway, right?
Right? When we're together, it'll be good, right?
It'll be great.
Just listening to Bob Marley and hanging out with our dog. Sounds great. I am going to fuck Deadshot.
Okay.
Oh.
This is not the direction I thought.
Listen,
I'm
I went away for 3 weeks and became a whole new person.
Yeah.
Wow.
New Keegan, who dis?
What's up? No, I just feel like he's strong.
Oh, yeah.
You know, I don't want to be married to him.
No.
I think
He's going to anger fuck you.
Yeah,
but he's gonna anger
aggressive,
fuck you.
right?
Yeah, he is.
Yeah.
But for one night, great.
Ooh, yeah.
Ooh, it's going to be spicy.
Yeah.
It's going to be fun.
Yeah.
Okay? Like, definitely you're going to want to sneak out of there.
Yeah.
Like, I feel like I'm leaving
You're
before.
not sneaking out, by the way. He knows you're leaving.
Oh, that's true.
He's just
Yeah.
going to let you. He's
Yeah.
gonna be like, oh, yeah, sneaky snake. See you next time.
Okay.
And you know what? There probably will be a next time.
Yeah,
because
there
it's
will.
like, he's the guy who you're like, all your friends are like, do not
It's a
do
bad-
it.
And you just text him the eggplant and the water emoji.
Yes.
You get drunk enough, you're like, don't do it. No,
I
it's
did
done.
it.
God damn
It's
it.
done. It's been done.
You called an Uber. Sure you did. Okay. Cool.
Cool.
Yeah, you send him the you up text. Like
Yeah.
that's
Yeah.
what happens with that guy.
Oh, jeez.
And it's a mistake. And you
Every
know it's
time.
a mistake, you know?
But it's a really, really, really fun mistake.
It is. It is. I'm going to kill Hitch. And, you know,
Yeah.
like, I think Hitch is actually a good guy. I think actually of the three of them, he's probably the one that would end up being the best husband.
Yeah.
Right.
If you had the, like, patience to get him through that initial, like,
Bullshit.
you know, yeah. Because, you know, hasn't been in a long-term relationship ever, so you're going to have to train him up a little bit.
Oh,
but I
yeah.
feel like once he's trained
That's a
up
good
well,
point.
he's gonna be great. But
But you won't get them training wheels out. It's
And-
not where
I
you're at.
know. You get to a certain age and you're like, I've done taught too many guys how to ride this bike. I'm like, I'm going to need somebody else to have done that
Yeah.
labor.
And
Yeah.
I also feel like there would be an element of, because this is his like area of women is his like area of expertise,
Oh,
that there would be
God.
like a certain amount of like
Mansplaining.
mansplaining going on.
He's
That
gonna mansplain your femininity to you, and you're like,
he's gonna be like, that's where the G spot is, and you're like, I promise you, it's not. That's not where it is.
Funny story. My body, I do know. It sure doesn't feel like it.
nope.
So yeah, I also just feel like there's nothing exciting about being with Hitch. Like, at least if you're with I Am Legend guy, I mean, like, he's a scientist.
Yeah.
You know, like there's some like something really like intellectual and interesting about
Yeah.
that guy.
Yeah.
Smart.
He's gonna
I love
keep you stimulated and on your toes. So yeah, I'm gonna do that.
I feel like you've had some really solid points here. Wow.
I'm gonna go a different direction.
Okay, good. 'Cause
Okay.
I feel like that got swayed a little.
I think that I am going to marry Hitch, actually.
Okay. I think it's a solid choice.
I think that it's good for me, and Eric has taught me a lot in that Eric can be very, very silly, and I think that that's good for me in that I may be a little too serious or in my head at times.
Yeah,
and
this is a good choice
Eric's
for
a
you.
really good way of
Yes.
drawing me out of that. So, you know, even if he does get a little mansplaining at times, I can roll my eyes or what have you. But
Yeah.
he does seem to be the one that's the most fun and outgoing. of the
Agreed.
three.
Yeah, he's gonna, of the three, he's the one who's gonna take you dancing.
Yeah.
For sure. And I think that mansplaining thing can be worked out of him.
Yeah.
I really do.
Yeah. Yeah.
A little bit of patience.
Yeah, a little bit. But yeah, it's I think that out of the three, that's a good one. And then I'm gonna fuck I Am Legend.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. There's definitely like that sad boy
Yeah.
sex is
It's ingrained in you a little.
A
You're
little.
like, okay, I don't want to marry it now, but I do want to.
But this
it
is
still.
growth.
I do
This
still
is-
want to fuck it.
This is real growth for you. I feel like
is,
you're like,
it's
you know what?
huge.
You recognize that's like, that's not, I shouldn't marry that.
Yeah, long term, it's brutal. It's intense to marry the sad boy.
Yeah.
Well, fucking him every once in a while, kind of
Ew.
fun. Yeah, yeah. What
Okay.
about you, Cass?
All right. Well, gosh, I was pretty solid. I think I'm going to go to my original, which was I think that I am also going to marry I Am Legend. Brains, smarts.
Mm-hmm. Yeah,
Yeah.
Honestly, the sexiest thing ever. Like
Yeah.
I love.
He's
smart.
really hot in that movie too.
he's
So
so hot.
hot.
Like-
He is. That is the hottest Will
Yeah.
Smith
Yeah.
in these three.
Yeah.
By the way, yeah,
And yeah, I do love a German Shepherd. Kind of one of my favorite dogs.
yeah.
They're
They're
There's a
sweethearts.
lot here. I really just feel like, and I am just obsessed with dystopian future.
Mhm. Well, you're preparing
Kind of.
yourself. That's good.
Yeah, like it's the shit that I dream about too. Like it's the stuff where I'm like, I'm on the run and we have to it's the kind of movies I like to watch. It's the kind of dystopian books I like to read, you know.
And you want him on your side.
yes,
For sure. And you know he's
yeah.
not going to leave you in Deadshot.
Deadshot
Yeah.
will.
Yeah.
Deadshot will.
He's like, I got to get out of the situation and you're too
Yeah.
slow. So deuces.
Yeah,
I don't know what to
deuces.
tell you.
yeah, no, he ain't gonna stand by you.
Yeah.
I'm actually gonna kill Deadshot because
Mm.
I think it would be a fun fuck, but it's not healthy.
No.
And I'm in a healthy
no.
place in my life where I want to be healthy-ish. And
Wow. I feel like my decisions have been really.
oh, sorry. But I'm gonna fuck Hitch, or yeah, for sure. I'm gonna fuck Hitch.
Yeah,
Yeah, because I think
It'll be fun.
yeah, I think
It'll
he'll
be fun.
I think he's fun.
It will. Yeah.
Yeah,
For sure.
Hitch is fun. He's definitely the most
fun of the three.
group.
Definitely.
For sure.
yeah.
Yes. Woo,
All
great.
good
I feel like we all
answers.
learned a lot. And
Yeah. Now it's time for my therapy. I'll be back here shortly.
All right. Well, you guys want to take 5 and we'll come back with stories?
Yeah.
Yes. And we're back. All right. See, you're up.
All right. Let me bring it up here. We got a influx of listener stories, which
Thank
is so
you.
great.
Thank you,
Please
thank you, thank
keep 'em
you.
coming. So this one is entitled Road Trip from Hell.
Amazing.
She says, "Hey worsties, longtime listener, first time writer here. My memory was jogged this past weekend and I decided to write in one of my worst dates ever."
Oh, I love it whenever that
do too.
happens. You wake up out of a cold sweat and you're like, oh,
Yeah.
that happened.
Set the scene. I had been seeing this guy, we'll call him Chris, for about 3 months at the time, and there were so many red flags that I chose not to see. I was only 23 and my self-worth was in the ditches. It was a nice summer day and I was going on a road trip to see my best friend that was 6 hours away. I had initially planned on making the trip solo, but 30 minutes before I was set to leave, Chris called and said he had taken the day off from work to come with me.
No,
Okay.
I'm sorry. You invited yourself on my solo road trip?
To
no,
see
sir.
my best friend.
No. You want a third wheel, my best friend trip? No.
No, we're good.
Yeah, it would be so awkward. You know what I mean? Like if I was coming to visit one of you guys, you know, and we had planned, and then all of a sudden, like my dude is
Not your
hanging
boyfriend,
up-
like a
Yeah.
guy you've been on a few dates with?
No.
Yeah, no. And
Yeah.
you didn't plan on it.
Right.
I feel like you have to be mentally prepared to be in a car with somebody for 6 hours.
Yeah.
Oof.
Oh, amen to that. Ugh. Okay. I hadn't super been looking forward to 6 hours on the road by myself anyway. He gets to my house and the first thing he does is put a baseball bat in the trunk of my car for protection.
No.
It's in the trunk of your car,
No.
first and foremost. And what are you talking about?
What?
For what protection? You're driving.
I also want to know where they're going. Like,
Yeah.
in what scenario would that be necessary?
Right. Like,
Oh my God.
going to Santa Barbara.
Right?
Gotta-
Exactly.
Just in case we gotta fuck some shit up. Ugh. We took my car, so I did all of the driving. 6 hours there, 6 hours back. We left around 8:30 a.m. and he insisted on stopping at a gas station, and he comes out with a big box of beer and immediately starts drinking at 8:30 in the morning.
Cool.
Too soon, bro.
Cool. While you're driving in a car.
Yeah.
Very cool.
No. Ugh. I put on a podcast so we don't have to actually talk on the drive because I was already annoyed with him.
Good call.
Yeah.
Dude, I really
hope it
feel
was on.
like you have to have a certain kind of chemistry with people to be in a car for a long period of time. Like
Yeah.
you have to be like good friends.
Yeah.
Yeah.
In order to endure that. A road trip can really test a relationship or
Absolutely.
a friendship.
I think it
really
tested our
can.
relationship just going out to Vegas.
I don't
had
think
to
so.
stop-
We
No,
got along
we did
so
great.
well.
We got along great. But I'm saying, how many times did I make you guys stop to go pee? It was obnoxious. I'm like an old lady. I'm like, can I stop at this next
You're like, my bladder's full.
again? It refilled itself as soon as we left the last bathroom.
So a few hours and beers for him into the drive. We're on a long stretch of highway.
Oh no.
He leans back in the passenger seat,
Night.
pulls his dick out of
I
his
was about
pants,
to say,
No.
that's what he's doing.
and looks at me suggestively
Uh-uh.
while I am driving.
I'm sorry.
Sir.
Absolutely fucking not.
Sir.
Ugh.
Get the
Look, that's not how Roadhead works either. Like, I'm
No,
sorry, I'm
I'm
the
driver.
driver. So you,
What do you want to do?
you do it. This is what happens here. Like, that's the exchange.
I don't mean to sidebar
drive.
this, but I got to know if any of you guys given roadie.
I have not.
Yeah, I've given a
Uh-huh.
roadie before.
It's
It's
intoxicating.
yeah.
Is it?
It was kind of like, it's a little scary.
Yeah.
'Cause you're
I
like,
feel
oh,
like
God,
I
don't
would be very scared. I'm like, what
No.
if we hit a bump or something? My teeth are right
Well,
there.
I mean, that's on him.
Yeah. Drive safe, brah.
Extra
you
safe.
hit a pothole and it's all over for you.
Yeah. She says, sidebar again, I was in a very low place mentally and would have done just about anything to please someone. She admits like earlier on that she had her
tough.
last relationship had been serious and not good. So
Girl,
she-
we've all been in crazy places.
yeah,
okay?
you do not have to like
No.
apologize and
No.
stuff. Like this literally you could have been writing one of my stories. So
Same. I mean, same.
she says, I'm ashamed to admit it, but I gave him a half-hearted hand job while driving because it was easier than having him whine and pout the rest of the way to see my friend.
Here's okay. Even for him though, I'm like, nobody wants that. Nobody wants a
All I can think
dry,
about is
soulless hand job.
Yeah.
Nobody wants that.
And all I can think about is every semi you pass can fucking see
Yeah.
what you're doing.
Yeah.
Girl.
Oh,
This is a 2-lane road situation
Oh.
only.
I have definitely if I'm giving you a hand job, I'm not really into it. That's just what I'm
Is
just gonna
anybody
say.
like is anybody
I'm
like,
like-
the amount of like lubrication that is needed like to give a good hand job, and it gets gross. I don't no, just don't, just put it in your mouth at that point. You know what I mean?
Put it in your mouth.
in your motherfucking mouth. We finally make it to
But
our
not if you're driving.
Yes, exactly. We finally make it to our destination, and he's an asshole the entire time. He doesn't want to meet my friend or her family. Spends our entire time there in my car smoking and drinking. Wow.
Sir, why did you come for a half-hearted
Wow.
handy?
You're about to be left in Santa Barbara.
After a few hours, we start the trip back home. We stop at a gas station to fill up. He asks for a Xanax he can rail in the bathroom.
Oh,
I gave him
My.
one that I was prescribed for my anxiety. Then we stopped at a Waffle House because where I'm from, we don't have Waffle House, and I had always wanted to go to one. We eat quietly and use the bathrooms before getting on the road again. I come out of the women's room, and he's right there, insisting that we have sex in the Waffle House
No.
bathroom.
No.
fuck
No.
Who
you.
wants to have
No.
nightmares about that?
No.
Fuck you,
Look,
dude.
you know what you're getting into, and it's a meme at this point. Like, you know what you're getting into when you go to Waffle House,
That's right.
right? Like, and it's fine. We're all in agreement that it's fine. If you're
Yeah.
there, it's fine.
But you ain't fucking in that goddamn bathroom.
There are drainage holes in the floor
Yeah.
for when they go in and just
Hose it
that
down.
bitch down.
power spray the entire. They don't even mop there.
No.
They just power spray the floors
because
down.
they know how disgusting it is. There's
you
puke.
can't fuck in there.
No.
Like, do you want to know what's good? Like, you can't do anything in a Waffle House bathroom.
You
get
can't sit
in
on the seat when you pee.
and you get the fuck out.
That's
Yeah.
right.
You're hovering. That is I
a
have
hover.
a category.
Yep.
And that's a hover. That's in the hover category.
A Waffle House bathroom is like a step and a half above a public beach bathroom.
Ooh.
You know what I mean? Like, and that's saying a lot because you know how I
Yeah.
feel. I won't even use a Venice Beach bathroom anymore. I'm past
Yeah,
that
just
point in my life.
Go in the ocean.
I will use a Waffle House bathroom, but just barely.
Yeah.
I'm definitely not fucking in there.
Yeah.
No.
Yeah.
No.
He was so pushy about it, but he didn't have any condoms, and I was not on birth control, and your girl is not getting knocked up.
Amen, girl.
Yes.
Definitely not with
Not
that
with that
guy.
guy. Oh, God.
We get in the car and start driving home. I'm so annoyed with him, and we don't talk. I put on another podcast. Eventually, he falls asleep, and I spend the rest of the drive home essentially by myself. We broke up shortly after this day because he had incredible trust issues and was always accusing me of cheating on him, which, of course, I never did. That's a red flag. That means
He was cheating on
doing
you.
some
Yeah.
shady shit.
The reddest.
There were so many red flags from the beginning of this quote unquote relationship that I either choose not to see or didn't realize until after the fact. He was manipulative and abusive, and I'm so lucky to have gotten out. It's been a little bit embarrassing to write all this out, but I'm reminding myself that I was not okay or myself during this relationship. Girl,
You don't need
You
to
don't
justify
need to-
yourself to us.
No.
You've
No.
listened to this podcast. You don't need to
Okay,
justify
right?
yourself to us.
Exactly.
Okay? We have had some real shady shame receipts go down. Okay?
no shit. Yeah. Girl, you're
You're in
You're fine. You're
Good
golden.
company.
Amazing.
You're
Yeah.
golden. Everybody's been there.
But looking back, I'm so proud of myself for getting out and becoming the strong, badass woman that I am today. Thank you, ladies, for being such strong examples of what a healthy relationship looks like and for always being a safe place for people like me.
Aww.
Aww.
I love you.
I know. Thank you so much.
Okay.
You're so smiley.
I'm very excited to be with you guys. A. B. The story is real cute.
Oh.
Okay.
Yay.
All right. So we got this story written into us as well. And it starts when I was in high school. Also, she gave like a little side note just for us, but I also think it's very important to set the scene, which is immerse yourself in the indulgent sounds of Panic at the Disco. I think
I
nothing
will do
really
that.
puts it in a place.
That's a moment.
Chime in. Okay, so that's happening.
We're here. Okay.
Just in the background.
Got it.
When I was in high school, mid 2000s, my family moved from Cali to the Midwest. You can imagine the angst this fueled. Because I'm an introvert and really resisted this change, I was slow to make lasting friendships. At the beginning of one semester, though, I took a gym class and met this other alt girl, let's call her Elizabeth, who was as nerdy and hated gym as much as I did. Our class was full of girls from dance teams, so we really saw ourselves as, quote, not like the other girls.
Oh God. Oh, my heart. Like, I'm like, help me. I feel like
This is you.
I know them. Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm just like, oh, so much eyeliner.
Because we were in different grades, though, we didn't have any other classes together and only hung out during PE. As the semester went on, I started to build some friendships. I was also like 16, so I was horny as fuck. Yeah. No one struck up my fancy, really, but this guy I sat next to in Spanish, let's call him Dylan, which is weird for me. This is my son. Was nice, and because proximity was enough for me at this point, I gave him my number.
Yep.
We exchanged some texts here and there and had those, quote, deep angst conversations, but
God.
didn't
Imagine the side swoop haircut on Dylan. You know, like the mid 2000s.
only one eye.
Just one eye. Yeah.
Just one
Oh,
eye.
it's dyed box black.
Black. Yes. He might have a white streak in it. But Dylan definitely can't see on both of his eyes.
No.
Only one.
Yeah.
Deep angst conversations, but didn't really speak much in person. At some point, I really became a horn monster and just needed someone to touch my boobs.
Well,
Yep. There we go.
sounds like
Been there.
16.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, or
or
after that, too.
15, 16, 17, 18,
Now.
19, 42. I started to get flirty in my texts with Dylan, and we'd go back and forth sending super tame, sexy Midwestern texts.
Oh my God. 16-year-olds.
Midwestern sexy
Oh my
texts.
God.
Oh my God. Plus, he lived in my neighborhood, so again, proximity was important. Eventually, we decided to make plans and meet the next day at midnight in the play structure halfway between our houses.
Oh my God, this is the
Oh
most
my-
Midwestern story. Like, you're going to sneak out of your parents'
Yep.
ranch-style house and walk to the local playground
Oh my
at
gosh.
midnight.
I have a scar in my back from like humping on one of those concrete picnic tables.
Oh, that's so high school of you.
Yeah, I definitely
Done it on
got
one
some
of those
action on
this concrete picnic
in a shelter house. Oh
Yeah.
yeah. Sweet. I was finally going to get some action. On the eve of our midnight tryst, I went to class like normal, but I started to get that nervous feeling in my stomach. I had never snuck out before. My parents were helicopter parents, and I never got anything past them. Also, this play structure wasn't in a park. It was a neighbor's house.
Oh, no. No.
What if they found us trespassing? I spiraled into anxious thoughts, but in the end decided making out was more important.
Of course.
priorities.
Yes. That night, I started to get ready. I texted Dylan to seal the deal and make sure we were still a go. Got the green light. I waited for my parents to go to sleep, and once I knew it was safe, I got dressed. My stomach was doing kickflips at this point. My senses were on high alert, thinking that at any moment I was about to get caught. As I was trying to figure out how to take the screen out of my window to sneak out, I heard a scratching at my door. Fuck. Meow. Shit. I practically flew to my bedroom door to let the cat into my room. He sauntered in, meowing, purring wildly. He had never before craved attention late at night.
What a cock blocker this cat is.
But of course, now he was purring like a motorbike and wanted all the love. I plopped him on my bed, gave him some hurried pets and scratches while listening for any sign that my parents had woken up. And after a while, he calmed down, and I gently but urgently scooted him out the door. Back to the screen.
Cat people are hilarious. Like, we're like, yeah, I'll put everything on hold to take care of your needs for 5 seconds.
That mowing is definitely going to wake up your parents.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
Yeah, for sure. I took it out with the dexterity of a jewel thief and slowly climbed out the window. I was on the ground floor, and a bush was right outside my window, so I figured I'd sneak out of there pretty incognito. As I stood up and started walking down the street, a neighbor walked by with their dog. They looked at me skeptically, and in a panic, I put my finger to my neck and started to jog in place.
Oh, no. That's hilarious. Because you know it's she's like, I saw this in a movie once. Yes. And like, she's definitely not dressed in like athleisure wear. Like, right? No. She's not in like a velour tracksuit. She's in like emo jeans, like skinny jeans that you would never fucking go running in. Oh.
Luckily, they kept walking and didn't say anything, so I jogged down the street in the opposite direction, still checking my pulse like a moron.
That neighbor knows how to mind her business. She's like, you know, not my monkey. Okay.
Yep.
Checking my pulse like a moron and hiding behind bushes when possible. After what felt like the longest jog in history, I got to the meeting spot. I hid in the woods between houses and made sure the lights in the kitchen were off. Good to go. I let out a sigh of relief and climbed into the play structure. From the outside, you couldn't tell anyone was in there. Once I got my breath back, I checked my phone for texts. Nothing yet. I texted Dylan while I waited for him to respond. I practiced looking casual for when he'd climb in next to me.
Oh, I love that. Oh my God.
Practice looking casual.
Yeah, you're like, look, chill. Look, chill.
Look, if I lean
like,
on this.
Yeah. What do I do with my hands? down hands. Okay.
You're trying to find the angle where you look the skinniest.
Yeah.
For sure. Like, you're like, my arms look skinny if I prop them up like this.
Yeah. Just lean back. No big deal.
That looks good.
That looks casual. 10 minutes went by with no response. I sent another text. 40 minutes passed. Nothing. Where the hell are you? I texted furiously. At this point, I was starting to get freaked out and felt like I was pushing my luck. I thought about my cat meowing and my folks finding my bed empty. Anxiously, I scrambled out of the neighbor's backyard and walked back home. I made it back to the bedroom safely and found everything was just like I left it. Tired, I got into bed and saw that Dylan finally responded.
Oh, you bitch.
LOL, I fell asleep. Sorry.
Go fuck yourself. Oh my God. Absolutely.
My
go
heart's
fuck
breaking
yourself.
for every 16-year-old. Oh my God.
I was pissed off. So I just went back to bed without responding. I avoided him for the next couple of days and he kept apologizing. While I wanted to be cool and yell fuck off in his face, I was a teenage girl and with low self-confidence and thought he could be different this time. So we made plans to watch Shaun of the Dead in my basement the next Friday night. And this time we succeeded. He came over and of course we watched about first 20 minutes of the movie and then we got frisky.
Yep.
When we get to second base, he took out his phone and tried to take photos of me.
Whoa. Whoa.
To this day, I'm so happy I had the audacity to take it from him and fling it across the room. This put a damper on the night, so we made out a little more, and eventually the movie ended and he went home. Not 30 minutes went by before I received a text from him saying that was a mistake. Too hot for you? I responded naively. He went on to admit that he not only had a girlfriend, but they had been going out since the beginning of the school year. They met at church camp.
Oh, my God, I'm so triggered.
He said, she is a really sweet girl and you'd really like her.
Oh.
He cursed himself and said he was going to hell. And of course, I did the emotional work of telling him he's just human and it's okay through tears.
Oh my
What's her
God.
name? I asked. Elizabeth, he responded. I froze. Is her last name blank? I said, yeah. Do you know her? My friend from gym class. I could not describe all the emotions I felt in that moment, but number one was disgust with myself. I talked Dylan into telling her what had happened, and the next Monday, Elizabeth and I skipped gym and talked it out and cried together. We patched things up, but I did not talk to them outside of school anymore.
Oh my God, what a great story.
Fast forward a couple years to senior year, I asked the guy to prom and we ended up joining Elizabeth and Dylan's prom group. Since it turns out they had been buddies since elementary school, I was nervous at first, but we soon started gabbing and joking like we did in the old days. We had a blast at prom and had a teen movie style perfect ending to high school. Since then, Dylan and Elizabeth broke up, but she is now engaged to an amazing guy. I haven't talked to Dylan in a while, but last time I heard he was trying to become an influencer and calling himself shaman.
Oh no. That tracks. Does he have a man bun now? I bet he does, in a beard.
Oh, jeez.
And I never took up never took up midnight jogging after that first time.
Oh, wow. Oh my gosh. That was so well written.
I know. And there were so many like memories in there too.
She took me there.
Yeah.
She really took me there. I feel I'm like sweating a little
invested.
bit. I'm like triggered. I'm like, I knew these people. I was these people.
Waiting casually in the neighbor's play structure, like anytime now.
Oh, it's gonna happen. Tonight's the night my boobies get touched.
Yep.
The running whenever the neighbor sees her is the funniest part to me. Just like
Touching her neck. Like, just checking my pulse. Joggity jog.
Jogging in my Converses.
Definitely cons.
amazing. Okay. This is also a listener's story. It says, "Hey gals, I am so glad I discovered your podcast. It gives me big laughs in between all the sad murder podcasts I listen to. LOL."
Oh, perfect.
True.
I binged your podcast and am finally caught up. And she says, "P.S. I'm a mid-20s female for reference." Okay. I met this dude on Tinder about 2 years ago, met up with him, and we really hit it off. We started hanging out every day, and he invited me to a Halloween party to meet all of his friends. I was stoked. We dressed up as avatars, the blue people.
Oh, that feels intensive.
And we're fully painted blue on all of the skin that was showing from under our blue-ass outfits. Which I always feel like, how does it not get everywhere?
Oh.
Does it get everywhere?
Yeah,
Everywhere.
I mean,
It has to.
It has to. We've watched Arrested Development, and there's like all those like blue marks that start happening in the background because he keeps painting himself blue. Oh my God.
So the night is super fun. His friends are awesome and super welcoming, and I'm having a great time. So great, in fact, that I decide to smoke weed. I smoked weed in my teenage years often, but at this point, I hadn't smoked in about 10 months. But I said, fuck it. I'm drunk, and I'm going to smoke this joint.
Ooh.
Look, we've all been there.
Yeah, we have.
Yeah.
But
Oh.
if you find yourself there, just say no. Because the combination of weed, it's not going to do what you think it's going to
ain't
do.
good.
No,
It ain't
it's
good.
not. Having the spinnies when you're drunk.
It's horrible.
Worst.
Horrible.
Yeah.
P.S. We were also dabbling in cocaine. That's how she spelled it.
Yep.
Yeah, you did.
Cocaine.
Cocaine. that night, and she said in parenthetical, "You don't have to say this on the podcast if you don't want to, but you have my permission because it goes to show how under the influence I was. LOL."
Hey.
Yes.
Listen, cocaine
Drunk.
and drunk, that is a good combination.
Yeah.
You get right out that drunk mode and you get right into
Party
mode.
mode.
Let me tell you, I have some good ideas, guys.
Right.
Hear me out. Hear me out, guys.
I'm
Exactly.
going to start a restaurant. So, but yeah, at this point,
Let's start another podcast. I
Look.
have an idea.
yes. And it's a great idea. And you listen to it in the morning and you're like, that wasn't a great idea.
Not, yeah.
But okay, so she's drunk, having some cocaine fun times,
And now I'm
And
going to
adding
pot
weed to the mix.
That's
not-
that's
a lot.
That's an ingredient that I think of like nutmeg. You know what I mean?
Sparingly.
Very sparingly.
Mhm.
And
not
only in the right
everything,
recipe.
Only in the right recipe. Otherwise, it's
Can
like
overpower any dish.
right.
Yeah.
Yes,
Yeah.
indeed. Okay. So I go out to the garage and smoke. Important note, I am anemic and will pass out if I have low iron levels. And I hadn't taken an iron pill in months. I take them every day now, don't worry. And I can feel a fainting spell when it's coming on. So I start to feel a little dizzy and fainty. So I casually excuse myself and grab my friend that I brought to go to the bathroom. She does a line and then leaves.
Oh, bitch. No, I
Good
need
friend.
you here.
Yeah. Okay.
Like
Wait, is that friend me?
I brought you here to take care of me. Okay.
Like, bye.
Bye.
Whose SAG after card is this?
It's an inside joke. Okay.
Sorry.
I say to her, go back out and I'll be out in a minute. I just need some water. Then my date comes in the bathroom to check on me. I tell him I'm okay. I just need water and to chill for a sec. He brings me a glass of water. I take one sip and then I feel myself starting to pass out. All I remember is waking up on the floor in a puddle of something wet.
Ooh.
So he calls an Uber and safely takes me and my friend back to his place. Next day, I wake up and he tells me the full story. When I passed out at first, I was sitting on the toilet seat holding the cup of water. Then, as I fell against the wall to the left side of the toilet, spilling the cup of water everywhere, my blue face paint smeared against the wall and left a huge, shameful blue streak.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
Then I proceeded to puke all over this man, all over his chest.
Puking avatar.
Oh, no.
You're like not only like wretchedly like drunk and high, but you're painted blue.
And probably half your face is like smeared off at this point, right? It's all over the wall.
Oh,
Then, then I fell to the floor and peed my pants.
Yeah.
Which I am honestly not surprised about. I have a weak ass bladder and even pee when I cough sometimes.
no. Hit me.
So pretty much a shit show at this point. When I came to, he sat me up against the shower and cleaned up the wet ass, disgusting, pukey pee mess with a towel. Then he carried me into the Uber and we left. My hero.
Oh.
The next morning, he made me breakfast and we laughed it off. He told me he was super scared and thought I was going to die.
Oh, no.
I honestly feel so bad for the people around me when I pass out. It must look really scary from the outside. After we talked it through and he asked me if I wanted to still hang out today, at that point, I knew I loved this dude.
Oh my God, they're married. Oh my God. Oh my God.
I met his parents like 2 weeks later. We ended up telling that story. Wow, brave.
Cool parents.
Cool. And his dad said, well, that's how you know he loves you.
Aw.
And I agreed. This guy must really like me if he still talked to me after that incident. We have been in a relationship for almost 2 years now and just moved in together and got a cat. So worsties, if you ever lose hope in the dating world, just remember there are some absolute angels out there amongst all the turds. Love you all. Keep doing what you do, Maddie.
Oh, that's amazing.
That's
You do know when you find the right one. That's for sure.
that's true.
I mean, yes.
I have peed the bed. So
Oh.
Puke.
early
Pee.
on. Yeah.
Paint.
Yeah.
Oh. Oh no.
Well, I have got a Tainted Love for you guys. Now,
Yes.
I was going to save this for the end section when we usually talk about what we're watching, but it kind of ties into this. So I watched the Peacock original Dr. Death.
Oh, okay.
Uh-huh.
Yeah, with Joshua Jackson, Alec Baldwin, Christian Slater.
Based on the podcast.
Yes.
Right.
Okay.
Terrifying.
Yeah.
And really good. I definitely
You
recommend
listen
it.
to the podcast,
Yes.
right? Oh God, one of the most terrifying things I've
It makes me
fucking heard.
sweaty just thinking about it. Like people literally just play acting in your spine. It's chilling. It's
haven't
so
listened to it.
oh,
Oh.
it's the scariest.
That's basically what it is.
So then I was like, oh, I was looking at that. And then, of course, like the Britney Spears conservatorship thing, I was like looking at that. And then there was this book about like somebody did basically the same thing that they're doing to Britney Spears to a gay man, like back in the 20s, 30s here in Hollywood.
Oh.
So I was like, oh, I really want to, but I don't have time to read a 400-page book.
Right.
So stay tuned for that one. Anyways. So I picked this one because I random Google searches. This came up because he is a doctor as well. And this is a very new case.
Ooh.
But when people wonder like why I'm like afraid of doctors,
Oh, no.
sometimes it's because there's a lot of cases like this that are out there. So
Oh, no.
here we go. I got a lot of my information from Daily Beast articles and BBC because they are the ones that kind of worked on this case. Now, there are things that happen every day, every second, that are out of our control. Our lives and indeed our personalities are shaped by how we react to that fact, whether it terrifies us, liberates us, leads us to faith, or vice. And some personalities, like my own, long for the illusion of control. And I feel that another person that feels that way is Dr. Ronald Ilg. He's someone that cannot fathom not being on top. So,
Is he a Capricorn?
I mean,
It's tracks.
it's not. He's definitely like we can talk about what you think he is when you hear this this story.
Uh-oh.
God damn it. He's an Aries. I knew it.
Oh no.
Dr. Ron was originally from a small farming community in the Willamette Valley of Oregon, and he studied medicine through the 90s, specifically like neonatology. Like he wanted to be able to perform on babies and preemies, that sort of thing. So he climbed to success to become a licensed physician and surgeon and was the medical director for a facility in Spokane, Washington. Did that for years and years. He also got married to a local woman. Although the marriage wouldn't last, it ended amicably. Mm-hmm. So like he just got divorced. He's got this great job. Like his patients love him. He's really good at it so that he's like the boss. But things start to kind of slip through the cracks. Dr. Ron would then begin to date and then marry an esthetician 15 years his junior in 2016. Their son was born in 2018, which is the same year that Dr. Ron drops a bombshell. He is polyamorous and into BDSM and wants to find himself a girlfriend he can use as a sex slave.
Pause.
Oh.
So he
just
tells
put a pin in that.
his pregnant wife
And
this.
they've been together
2 years.
Okay. I know that things change, things evolve. That really feels like a bomb that it feels late into the relationship to drop a bomb like that. And even if this is something that you've just learned about yourself, I feel like there's a good way to introduce that. And maybe not while she's pregnant.
Thank you. I was just
Right.
going to say, list of things I don't want to hear from my husband when I'm carrying his child.
No.
Like, I feel like that's number one with a bullet. You hold that in until, like, I get that out. That's such a major thing. You're asking to redefine the parameters of your relationship.
Right.
and
When
what
you're
you
pregnant,
want.
your body is changing. Your hormones are all over the place. You're probably questioning, your self-image, your self-worth. Everything's changing. That would be
I would
like a lot.
be
A lot.
furious. Well, she's pregnant, so otherwise distracted. So he gets online and finds himself a girlfriend, introduces the girlfriend to the wife, and, they try to be friends, that kind of thing. Like, but it's not, she's pregnant. She's not having any of that. So she starts to distance herself from it. She's like, I'm
thank
shutting
you.
down. I'm doing what I need to do right now physically, but I'm going to shut down. So then he starts putting tracking devices on her cell phone and on her car.
Pardon?
Yeah.
the big balls on this fucker. Like,
Yeah.
are you kidding me? Like, I'm not the one who stepped outside of like
Right.
our agreement when we got married. You are.
And what the fuck? Like, what's good for the goose is good for the gander.
Amen.
You know what I mean? Like,
Yep.
if you're going to say, oh, you're poly. Oh, okay. Then I get to do.
Then I'm poly too now.
Yeah.
Yeah, this is a
Goodbye.
polyamorous relationship.
Yeah. Like,
Then.
what do you want? It's like that control is what.
Yeah, because that's not really what he wanted. You know, there are so many stories about. There was one that went viral years ago, I think on Reddit or something, where a woman was telling a story. I think it may have even been like an "Am I the asshole?" or something like that.
Yes, I remember this.
Yeah, it was like her boyfriend had been pestering her to open up their relationship. You know, because he wanted to fuck other people, and you know, which is again, it's fine if like you have had this conversation and everything. Yeah. But so finally, she felt worn down, and so she agreed to do it. And then they did it. He was going out and dating, and she was going out and dating, and he found that she was getting a lot more fucking action.
Yeah.
Like, as a woman, she was getting like a lot more play than he was. It was a lot harder for him to like find women than it was for her to find guys.
Yeah.
And then he was pissed, and he wanted to close it back up, right? Like,
Yeah.
he was like, oh no,
Never mind.
rein it back, you know what I mean? And she didn't want to anymore because like they had decided to open it back up.
Yeah.
And so she was
Getting
asking for
pretty good dick.
advice on that. But like, look, man, once you go down that path, it's a fine path to go down, but be very clear
Yeah.
about where you're headed and make sure that you're on the same page.
Yeah. And tracking somebody or spying on them is never going to be the answer.
No.
At all. So not only did he do that, he also threatened to take away her belongings if she refused his sexual demands.
Okay.
So, okay.
So a real
she's
piece of shit.
pregnant.
He's a real piece of
oh
shit.
my God.
Cool.
I like want to break his arms.
And
So
he
now
waited-
you're going to sexually assault me.
Yeah,
Fantastic.
and he waited till she was pregnant, no doubt. Like, he waited until she was in a compromising position.
Exactly.
Yeah, he's
So-
a piece of shit.
Well, unsurprisingly, at his job, sexual harassment rumors and complaints surfaced.
No.
So weird. Like, how you do one thing is how you do everything. So if he's a jerk at fucking home, he's probably a jerk at work too. So his job actually asked him to resign, which he flat out refused. So then they eliminated his job position. So they're like, okay, like chief of medicine is not a position anymore. So, but he still kept showing up to work. So they finally, like in June of 2020, they outright fired him.
George Costanza them.
Yeah,
he's like, I'm just going to keep coming. What are you going to
And
do?
they're like, we're going to fire you. And that same month, his wife is like, and I want a divorce.
yes.
So,
Good for her, because that could be really hard to do when you're pregnant.
yeah. So by this time, Dr. Ron had, his girlfriend, and they dated pretty openly, and they began to engage in master slave arrangements. So he would keep her in a small underground bunker at his house for hours at a time. So,
It's an arrangement.
as far as I
long
can
as
tell,
it's consensual.
it was consensual at first, and it's
That's kind of the thing is, I don't care what anybody does. Like, your shit is your shit. I don't give a fuck. Like, as long as you're both consenting. But with this guy, given everything we know about this guy is controlling. This guy is abusive. This guy is, he's about power and manipulation. Like, that's what he's about. So when people like this enter into like master slave relationships, it makes me concerned, because I'm like, this is going to go off the rails.
right, because I do know people that engage healthily in BDSM,
Yes.
and it's like the real way to do it is the submissive one actually has the
more power.
Yeah, and it's all about how the dominant person sets up, how the communication is, and like how the aftercare is, and it's just like it's so terrible, I think, for that community when you have bad actors engaging in it and trying to say that abuse is what they're doing, and they're trying to call it BDSM when it's just like not.
You know,
that.
it's kind of like how there are certain professions that abusers are drawn to because by nature of those professions, they're able to be put in a position of power where they can then abuse. I feel like the same thing goes for people who want to participate in BDSM communities or like relationships where it's like it's not about the fact that they want to participate in be part of that community. It's about the fact that they're like, oh, this is a way that I can abuse and kind of like be safely right, and I can hide behind this other thing. And I do like, it sucks for the BDSM community because I know that there's a lot of like healthy relationships within that community. So
So as he's reeling from this double whammy of officially losing his job and having to go through a divorce, Dr. Ron allegedly sent his estranged wife hundreds of text messages begging her to stay and offering to pay her if she dropped the divorce proceedings. Her attorney eventually emails his lawyer saying, you need to limit their conversations to just discussions about their son. But he refused, and she filed for a restraining order on December 21st.
Yes, ma'am.
In response, Dr. Ron said he was in a raw emotional state, claimed he had learned his lesson and would cease contact with her. But in the weeks that followed, she claimed in court documents he parked outside her workplace, sent her dozens more text messages, and this is the most obscene. So they have to go back and forth with the custody thing. So at one point, they're exchanging their son, and he pretends to drop papers on the grounds, like these typewritten papers that have her name on it. And he does that in front of her and hopes she would pick it up. And so he's like, oh, did you drop this? So she does pick it up. It's a typewritten letter, 3 pages from him saying things like, I do love you more than words can describe, more than actions can show. Every fiber of my body, every ounce of my life energy calls out for you. Which I'm like,
I fucking hate this guy so much.
It's so manipulative. It makes my skin crawl.
It's awful.
Just control. Meanwhile, like, I don't know if you guys have seen this. I think CBS did a report with the BBC where BBC started investigating dark web. This was like a couple years ago. They just really like dove in. And I know there have been, true crime stories that we've listened to that have come out of that investigation where they're like, New York Times has even found that like all of those sites that are like hire an assassin or whatever, all those murder for hire sites, not a single murder has been attributed to them. They're all fucking scams. And yet the loads of people that are on there, like sending Bitcoin and shit like that, trying to get people killed.
Damn.
So yeah, BBC went into that.
I feel like that is so unsafe. Like, I can't even imagine putting something out there on the internet. I don't care if it's the dark web. I don't care where it's at.
I assume everyone's an undercover cop.
Yeah, I'm just like, I would never feel... Look,
and of course I would never do it in the first place.
Exactly. Not that I ever wanted to hire
clarify.
anybody, but I'm just saying, like, if you're in that position, I just feel like this doesn't feel... I barely feel comfortable emailing somebody I don't know, period.
Yeah.
Right. Like, let alone being like, hey, will you do this thing that could land me in prison for, like, even talking about it could land me in prison.
The amount of energy I spend trying to research like a sundress off of Amazon that I think about ordering, let alone a hitman.
Do you know how many tabs I have open for my bachelorette dress option? Like, I've got like 16 tabs open on my laptop right now.
Yeah.
I cannot imagine.
A decision like a hitman. It's like all these people, and we've seen all those Oxygen shows where there's people in the front seat of like a Chevy Cavalier talking about a murder for hire plot. And I'm like, honey,
just so
this ain't
bold.
the way.
Just so bold. Like, these people are so trusting. I always think that, where I'm like, what the fuck?
Like, I get naked, get in the shower with me. I'm like, gone, girl.
Yeah.
We're gonna talk about this naked in the shower with lots of noise.
There you go.
Very smart.
So she's like not having it at all. Her lawyer's like working on this whole restraining order. But remember, this is just a few months ago. So BBC is like has this big investigation into the dark web, and they discover that in February of 2021, there was a user known as Scar215,
Okay.
which
I mean,
Scar.
sounds legit.
I'm just like,
Jesus.
people's usernames are always going to sound stupid, especially when they do stupid shit. It's so funny to me. Scar.
Well, I mean, I guess you can't use your real name.
No, you can't.
can't do-
I'm like, I
you
wonder
can't do
if
Keegan dot Winfield,
215
you know what I mean?
is like,
How
oh
many
my-
other scars are there? There's like 214
Oh
other
my
scars.
God. So he first requested through a dark website that a hitman visit a woman's house and give her a significant beating. The hitman, he said, should injure both hands significantly or break the hands. He put nearly $2,000 in Bitcoin in escrow to be released when the job was done, but his request wasn't ever completed. So in March, Scar215 posted another assignment on the site because the first one didn't happen. He's going to reinvest into
Cool.
this.
Smart.
Yeah. This time, he wanted someone to kidnap and torture a different woman in hopes of convincing her to return to her husband. This is the plan. He wanted a hitman to kidnap this woman while her children were away, take her to a secure location, and inject her with heroin twice daily for a week, after which she would be taught to administer the injections herself and videotaped doing so he could have bribery later. The target destroyed 2 families and walked away as if she did nothing. Any and all persuasion should be used. The victim would only be released if she returned to her husband, dropped all court proceedings against him, and agreed to be physically intimate with him at least 3 times in the 2 weeks that followed.
Oh my
I
God.
have heard a lot of really fucked up shit on this podcast and elsewhere, and that makes me feel physically ill
Yeah.
Yeah.
in a way that like I don't think I have in a long time.
There's something I'm like, why is that
precise.
so much worse than just killing her? But like for some reason it hit me harder.
Yeah.
I
Yeah.
guess because it's so precise.
It's so insidious and
Yes.
controlling and I'm like, oh
What
my,
kind of person?
and he operates on babies, y'all.
Oh my God.
Listen, Scar.
215.
215.
Can you? It's so thought. He's like, it's
So precise.
the most like precise, grossest plan
And
ever.
again, what's wrong with your wiring that you can
Come
type
up with
all of
that.
and you can type all of it out
And then send.
in a message and send it to a person, and there has to be some level of thinking that you're justified because you wouldn't do it otherwise. And like what happened to you? Like I always just think that, where I'm like, what's going on? What's going on in there? You know
Yeah.
what I mean? Like,
yeah, this person must have been like one of the first people to say no to him.
Oh,
you know what I mean?
Totally.
Because I know that he went through a divorce before, but it must have been like his idea or something for him to not.
Well, he's clearly okay with it. They ended it amicably.
Yeah,
So
yeah. So I'm
and
just
she
like,
probably agreed to whatever he wanted in the
Right.
first divorce just to get out of it.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And this is the first person who's like set boundaries.
yeah, who's like, no, I don't know. And he's like so used to getting his own way. And then the combination of like the whole job thing and stuff too, how he kind of reacted the same way is like, no, I'm going to keep showing up until they're like, bro, like your job
No means
is not
no.
here.
You're
anymore."
fired.
Yeah.
We are not paying your bills anymore.
Yeah. Ugh. So she could also never tell anyone what happened under the plan, and she should be told her family's health, including her father and her kids, depend on her completing these rules. It would sure be unfortunate if her older boy became addicted to heroin, the post read,
Jesus.
or her dad be severely beaten, or her dog be slaughtered.
I feel like even if you were a hitman, you would read this email and be like, you know, that's
I'm
a
not-
bridge too far.
I'm not fucking with this person.
Yeah.
no, that's not for me.
Yeah, I just shoot people in heads. Like,
Yeah.
Yeah, I just walk away. I don't.
Yeah,
This
this
is
is-
too much for me.
It's like a lot.
yeah.
It's a lot of work.
So by early April, Scar215 reached out to a second dark website, hoping to have his request completed by the second weekend of the month. He said in the post he put $5,000 in Bitcoin for a hitman and escrow, and another $10,000 would be coming the next day.
That's not enough.
He also
That's
allegedly
2 weeks worth of work.
Right.
Feels like a lot. And you
Yeah.
got probably heroin. You got
to do it.
Yeah, are you responsible for the supplies?
I
Like,
know.
will the supplies be provided? I have questions.
Right.
The hitman sends an invoice.
Yes.
QuickBooks.
It's a honey book.
This is Venmo, and it's like has the shot or whatever.
It's the squirt gun.
Yeah.
You're like,
Oh no.
oh, terrible. Oh, God. I feel
God.
it's not funny.
No, it's fucking awful. He also allegedly pledged to give the hitman an extra $40,000 if his goals were completed by the second weekend of the month. He pushed for it to happen while coincidentally, Dr. Ron was on vacation in Mexico with his new girlfriend. Now, his new girlfriend had actually been in contact with his estranged wife. Like, mainly she kept asking her to stop, to drop the protective order against Dr. Ron because she felt like it was antagonizing him. But the ex-wife was like, fuck you, and started telling her like all the fucking shit, the tea about Dr. Ron. And so the new girlfriend was kind of like, maybe there's some red flags here. I don't exactly love being in the bunker. So
It's not my favorite.
it's not my favorite.
So I get really bored in there. He doesn't even leave me any People magazines.
Right. But then she became increasingly concerned by what the ex was saying. And so started like communicating and listening to what Dr. Ron was saying. She texted him at one point, "You hired someone from the dark web to hurt your wife. Leave me alone forever. I'm scared of you."
What a text message.
Yeah.
Like, she texted him that. Like, not even like a WhatsApp. You know what I mean? Like, nothing that's
it's just
encrypted.
iChat.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, prosecutors just like opened the phone and read it. They were like, okay. So the new girlfriend would later tell the FBI that Dr. Ron required her to call him sir and submit to various punishments he devised. And she said they got into a fight while they were in Mexico, in which she asked him to stop hurting her as she struggled to breathe. And he said he forced her to sign a contract requiring her to unconditionally accept what he would like her to do.
Okay, listen. You've been reading way too many erotica.
Yeah, I'm like, that is literally
Books.
straight out of 50 Shades.
50 Shades of
I want to know if it was
nonsense, what that is.
notarized.
No,
Because
well,
I'm like, is this a legally binding contract? Because I
Right.
don't think it is.
I don't think it is either. So yeah, no, you're out of it. So when they finally landed back from Mexico, the FBI was waiting for them along with BBC journalists. It was really kind of easy for BBC to find Scar 215 on there on these dark websites.
Because
Just-
215 really is area code, right? Yeah.
And then they like literally within seconds connected it to his Coinbase account online that has his name, his email, his phone number, and his social security number.
You don't say.
So they got a search warrant. They go into Home Dude's house and he's like, no, that's not me at all. And so they go into the house and on the side of his safe is Scar 215 on a
fucking
post-it note
idiot.
with
this password.
This password,
Of course
how
there
is this
is.
fucking guy a doctor? Like, do you ever wonder that shit? I'm like, how did you make it through medical school?
Oh my
Dude.
God.
Everyone says that medical school is like the most difficult thing you could ever do. And I'm like, this fucking guy?
This fucking guy did
This
it.
You know what?
fucking
This is
guy.
the problem, though. Some people are real book smart, but they dumb.
Oh,
They dumb in
God.
It's
life.
true. That's the truth.
I'm telling you, it's real truth. I
Yeah.
see it all the time.
Yeah. So then he changes his tune. He's like, okay, well, it is my account, but I was trying to use the dark web to hire a hitman to kill myself
Okay.
so that his new girlfriend would get all of his belongings instead of his estranged wife. So prosecutors were like, cool. So you changed your will then? And he's like, no. So they're like,
What?
all right, bro. Like, is no defense at all. So then the next day he tries to commit suicide. Authorities found him unconscious, surrounded by loose pills. They found out he'd taken 46 Xanax. And they found a suicide note next to a business card for the FBI special agent The note contained messages for both the witness and the victim, saying like things like "you mocked my love," why, and all this stuff. They of course like pump his stomach. They save him, and he also made sure to ask his ex-wife to make sure to share half of what his will would leave to her with his new girlfriend, which I'm sure she was like, cool, bro. So he has been charged with attempted kidnapping, which he plead not guilty to. And he hasn't been put on trial yet. So he's in jail until his trial, which is scheduled for October. So it is ongoing in the Pacific Northwest. So something to watch. And I mean,
people are fucking terrifying, aren't they?
Why is question BBC?
BBC.
It's weird that like this is like.
Well,
I mean, not that they don't do things outside of course,
right?
The British Empire or whatever. Like, but,
yeah,
like it just feels like
the way you said that.
I don't know. I was like, I'm lost. I'm saying words
the
wrong.
whole empire.
Yeah,
all of it.
No, that I mean, I guess if you read those messages, if it was your job as an analyst to read through like all the messages on these weird hitman sites on the dark web, which first of all, I'm like, I wouldn't even know the first thing. I'm like, how do you even get there? Like, what is it?
Yeah.
All
do you
this stuff.
Just Google dark web?
Yeah,
because that's how you do it. Me.
Yeah, you go to the private tab on your phone.
That's right.
Right?
That's right. So
you're like, they can't find
just
me
like
here.
how you do with Pornhub.
Yeah, they can't. They don't see me.
Yes. Exactly.
I'm under the cloak of darkness. They can't see me in here. Google dark web.
Yep. And then once you do that, then
Just
you
the first
Google murder my husband or whatever.
Right, yeah.
And first site that comes up.
Click
Click
go with
on
that
it.
one. That must be the that's at the top. So it's
It's
got to
actually
be the
just
best
a Reddit
one.
thread. You're like, oh shit.
So yeah, I imagine that analyst had to read through like all these fucking different messages. But what we said when we're describing, I'm like, that is so detailed and so insidious and so frightening. He must have just like red flagged that right away and shot it up the pipeline. Was like, this
motherfucker's fucked up over
that
here.
is an active imagination, and we need to shut it down.
And do you know,
That's
like,
so
if that's
much,
your
dude.
job, if your job is to read these things on the dark web, like every day, you know how fucked up something must be for you to be like, what we
Flag
gotta,
that.
yeah,
we gotta flag.
we gotta push this up the flagpole immediately. You know,
this one's different. Yeah, because it
different.
is
It's different.
It's different than someone being like, "Go and kill my wife" or whatever. Which is like,
Also,
there's like
not great.
I mean,
Not
not great.
great.
It's not good.
Exactly.
None of it's good. We're not endorsing any of this. None of this has
Do
the
not
My Worst State
Google dark
stamp
web.
of approval. Okay, like none of it. But
yeah, no. So there you go. Something to look out for. And luckily, the
What's up with
ex-wife is fine, and
Thank
none
God.
of this came to fruition. So well, fine in quotes because she was married
Right.
to that piece of shit for
I
a
hope
while.
she has a real good therapist. You know what I mean?
and
Yeah,
a
and
lawyer.
lawyer.
Get that money.
Yeah.
Well, that's that was.
Thanks for that.
That was
You're
a journey.
welcome.
We all
Yeah.
feel, we all feel
Thank God.
good. We're ready. We're ready to go hit the pool. Okay. Wow. Well, we haven't seen each other in 3 weeks, so in that amount of time, I have watched many things.
Same.
And trying to decide what
Yeah.
to talk to you guys about. I mean, okay. So I will pick two, and these aren't the two I was thinking I was going to pick, but it just came to me. So I did start watching Ted Lasso, which is so good. If you just want to, I feel like we're going to see more TV like this as we come out of the pandemic, which we're not even close to out of now. We're still in the middle of it, just a reminder. But as we start to move back into normal times, I think that we all need something that's going to make us feel hopeful and good. And
it's so that.
It's so that. So if that's what you need right now, I highly recommend watching Ted Lasso. It's so good. We went to an event for season 2, and it was just like so nice to like watch, you know, the beginning of the second season and hear them talk about it and what it means to them, because it means a lot to them, and you can tell by the way that they interact with each other as well. And it's so funny and well done.
Yeah.
Definitely recommend it. Now,
Nice.
when I was I also watched Summer of Soul. I'm not going to talk about it, but it's great and you should watch it. It's
Chris
a documentary.
watched that too. He said it was great.
So good.
Yeah.
And this is less good, but I feel like this is hilarious. So I had a movie night with some of my friends when I was back home, and we were like, what should we watch? What should we watch? Because, it's a delicate thing to watch something with a group of people, right? And so we watched Willy's Wonderland on Hulu.
Okay. I
know
don't
what
know about
this-
this.
It is a Nick Cage modern classic.
Oh. Well, I think
we
you
were
said
like-
everything we need to
We
hear
were
about
like,
that.
I don't know. It has like a 65% Rotten Tomato. We're like, it's probably all right.
It sounds terrible.
It's one of those movies, and I feel like I need to talk about it because it hasn't happened in so long. That is so bad. It's like intentionally bad.
Okay.
So
Or
it's
is
like
it?
so bad. It's like fun.
Okay.
Like, it's like one of those that like you want to watch in a group so that you can all be like, what the fuck is happening
Yeah.
right now?
Yeah.
It's the whole premise is it's basically like a haunted Chuck E. Cheese where the where the like the characters, the like animatronic characters come to life and kill people. And it's this town is sacrificing people to them like once a year.
What?
Yeah, and Nick Cage gets put in there
What is happening?
to be sacrificed.
Oh
and
my
it
God.
is
Can we please take this conversation to the pool to tell the boys?
it
I feel
is
like
so funny. Like I highly recommend if you are hanging out in a group of people and you're like, we don't want to be committed. We don't want anything to get like deep. We
Yeah.
just want to be able to like drink and talk shit about this thing.
Oh.
It is great for that.
I
It's
want
been a
how
minute
did this get made to do it
Yes.
immediately, if not sooner.
It's hilarious.
That's awesome.
Yeah. So yeah.
Wow. Well, I also have watched a ton of stuff. I did watch the Anthony Bourdain Roadrunner. It was I can't say that I recommend it. It's weird. I think that go in it with caution. It is, I think it could be very triggering. It was a hard watch for this for
It's a documentary, right?
yeah, it is. It was a tough watch. On the lighter side, I did watch Suicide Squad, which was fucking awesome.
I
didn't
actually
pick
enjoyed
that.
myself watching it, and you know how I feel. I definitely am not the superhero movie watcher, and definitely not DC at all.
same.
Right.
Like,
Yeah.
just not my jam. So fun.
That
I thought
was
it was
so
fun.
good.
and
It was on my
silly and
list.
stupid, and
It was on my
Exactly what
list
I
of
needed.
things to talk about, but I was like, I'm not gonna because I bet you Cassie's gonna talk about it. And it was very, very entertaining.
It was so good. It's
Yes.
exactly what I wanted it to be, which was just fun.
Yeah.
Like just something to turn on, engaged. I was like from go. I
how
thought
good
it
was John Cena in that?
my
He was
God.
so
So
funny.
good.
He was
so
really
funny.
funny.
They were all good. Like honestly,
good
Idris
across the
Elba
board.
playing that like straight man character was great. Like Sylvester Stallone doing the,
The
voice of
shark.
the shark was so good.
Yeah.
My God.
Yeah.
So good. It was so fun.
Yeah.
Dude, that opening sequence though. Just like you're like, what is happening?
Yeah.
Dude, when his arms came off.
The weasel. So good.
so good. Yeah.
Oh, dude.
Yeah, that was fun. I got to watch that this week.
Sorry, hopefully I didn't take yours.
No, I told you at the top of the Tainted Love that I watched Dr. Death, which I high recommend because Alec Baldwin and Christian Slater playing buddy doctor,
Amazing.
like, taking on the medical board
one
and stuff.
is Dr. Death? Who plays Dr.
Oh,
Death?
Dr.
Josh
Death
Jackson.
is Joshua Jackson.
Oh shit.
Yeah.
Okay.
Okay, so and then Alec Baldwin and Christian Slater are the two doctors that notice that shit's fucked up
Honey,
and
we
they
got a
team
problem.
up together.
We love
And
to
I'm
see
like,
it.
I never knew I needed a buddy like flick between these two, but now
I love
I'm
Christian
like,
Slater.
Christian Slater,
Oh.
underrated
So under
and making a comeback, and I love it.
Brendan Fraser. Underrated.
Ooh.
This is our next fuck Mary
Yeah.
Kill, guys.
Yeah,
Underrated.
underrated.
Mm-hmm. Yes.
So that was really good. I also watched, and I don't remember if I talked to you guys about it, the Woodstock 99 documentary.
Yeah,
I
you
have
did talk to me
not
about it.
I've seen that.
Oof, I heard. And I don't know if I want to watch it.
It's
Brutality.
so aggro, and it definitely, you can see the seeds planted of where we are today from moments like that. And I was like, oh, okay.
That hits.
Yeah. Not a lot of stuff though. I need to.
Well, I would say if you haven't watched either of them, instead of watching Woodstock 99, watch Summer of Soul.
Yeah,
instead,
it's more uplifting.
because
definitely
it was really beautiful and powerful and cool and something that I didn't know had happened.
Right.
Yeah. So if you want to watch a music festival documentary, but you don't want to feel like you need to shower afterwards,
which you definitely will. So. Well, yeah, if you guys have stuff that we should watch, stories that we should tell, reach out to us on our one-stop shop of a website. It's myworstatepodcast.com. And we love you so much. Cheers.